me throw this at you now. So what do you guys make of Deebo Samuel talking shit on Eagle fans? Your place ain't that loud. I'm gonna tell you a secret here, and I think this guy's out of his tree. Niner guy, Santa Clara is not Candlestick Park. Okay? That is not Candlestick Park. Niner guy. Okay? Now, here's the quote, Niner. He took a shot at the Eagles saying this. He goes, they're telling me to be prepared for the noise at Lincoln Financial. Well, I know this. They don't make as much noise as we make at our place, Levi Stadium. Hey, I'm going to say this to you, dude. Candlestick was loud. It was a dump, but it was loud. Okay? It was loud. But Santa Clara versus Lincoln Financial, I don't think so. Bro, Eagle fans have always been crazy ass and always been obnoxious, push the bus, egg the bus, everything. You're always told when you play the Eagles, keep your helmet on. Okay? I'm just saying, man. Niner says, but I agree, Seattle is definitely louder than Lincoln. Man, I don't know about that, dude. That Lincoln Financial, dude, they're very educated fans in Philly. Look, I think Seattle, that ballpark in Seattle is very loud. Here are the loudest places. Arrowhead is loud. The old Hubert Humphrey Dome, for whatever reason, man, that place was always off the charts loud. Do you know what another place was? RFK. Dude, RFK was loud, and it rocked. I don't know. Maybe you guys are too young for it. Maybe you guys never went to RFK. But when you're on the field, RFK, you see the stands doing this, and you're going like this. Is that thing moving? The whole freaking stadium used to move. Silverdome was loud. Okay? Veteran Stadium. That's a mercy, didn't it? Okay? Dude. San Francisco, you guys drink wine and you guys eat cheese in the stands. Okay? They got batteries in their pocket. Hey, the only thing that looks... Can I tell you what Philly fan is right now? Okay. Guys, tell me if you think I'm wrong. Okay? Tell me if you think I'm wrong. What they've done to the Philadelphia Eagle sports fan is that they've moved him out of an old bar. The Vet. It was an old bar. It was like an old bar you used to go to when you were a kid, nickel beer nights and shit like that, right? Then they moved him into a fancy place. And now all those same people who went to that crusty-ass bar are now in a fancy restaurant. But they're still the same dudes. They're just in a fancy restaurant. Okay? They're just in a fancy restaurant. And they're like this. Holy shit, there's a bidet in here. Hey, Eagle guys are like, what's a bidet? Do you drink water out of it? What's a bidet? Is that the thing you clean your tater with? A bidet? What's a bidet doing at the link? You got a bidet. You got a bidet over at Levi Stadium. I'm promising you. There's a bidet somewhere in the Levi Stadium. Okay? And you got waiters. You don't have people that are like bringing you like hamburgers and hot dogs and shit like you do at Lincoln Financial. At the stadium in San Francisco, you got waiters. Excuse me, sir. What would you like to have? A new waiter. A new waiter. Let's start first off with a new waiter. Yeah. Excuse me, sir. What would when you order at Levi? I'd like to get a hot dog and some fries and a big beer. Sir, excuse me. We only have IPs, and we have oysters on a half shell, and we have caviar, and we have brisk and brie. And if you want, we have a great Napa. It's a Merlot. You could also go, in a way, you could also, if you want, you can have a Chardonnay. Dude, I want a freaking beer and a hot dog. Yeah. I don't know, man. Mr. Sileo, what would you like to have? A new waiter. Oh, man. Yeah, dude, there's nothing different from the vet fan than the guy you see today that's at Lincoln Financial. There's nothing different. It's just the surroundings. It's the same battery throwing, nails in the snowball throwing people. Keep your helmet on. Yeah, that's a rough joint, man. And don't be from the NFC East. Shit, man, you better put a face guard on. 700 level at the vet, man. Whew. Jerome used to play there, man. Hey, and you guys had the worst carpet in the history of football. There'd be this big rip in the middle of Veterans Stadium. And get this, second base always was elevated. And everyone always tried to play away from second base because second base was up like this. It was like bricks. And you're sitting there going, dude, how come they can't fix this? You know how many guys blew their knee out on second base playing football at the vet? That thing was this high off the ground, man. It was like a doorstop. That thing was a crazy place, man. And you could hear everyone screaming. Jail cells. Really great, man. Oh, love it. Let's see here. The Dirty 30. You wear a New York Giant or Dallas Cowboy jersey inside that Veteran Stadium, you might get your ass kicked. Oh, Yale goes, I went to the vet in 73. Hey, man. Dude, you play a game in that bitch, you better be ready to rock. You better be ready to roll, man. Okay? You better. All right. Jalen Hurts made a comment about being a finalist for the MVP. This is what makes this kid cool. I got to tell you, go back in NFL history. Think about a guy. Can you give me a story that's like Jalen Hurts' story? At the beginning of the year, our biggest question mark about Jalen Hurts was whether or not he's the guy for the future of the Eagles. Now he's an MVP candidate. Came out yesterday morning and said, I think it's really cool that I'm in the conversation for the most valuable player. And I would say this to you. He's moved ahead of Tua. So at the end of the day, maybe Saban was wrong for taking his job away. If you're Nick Saban now, Alabama can't claim him. Even though he had great success there, Bama can't claim him. He had his job taken from him. Just like, in my opinion, NC State can't claim Russell Wilson. They can't claim him. They gave the job to Mike Glennon. They went to Russell Wilson and said, no, this is Mike Glennon's job. He had to transfer to Wisconsin. You can't claim him. Just like Ohio State tries to claim Joe Burrow, you can't claim Joe Burrow. You threw him out for Dwayne Haskins and Justin Fields. I love how Ohio State tries claiming Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow's even from Ohio, and you threw him out of town. Yeah, Russell Wilson, Neil. Russell Wilson lost his job to Mike Glennon at NC State. Sills, you going to crack down on Herbert for losing his only playoff game? I think it's the shitty coaching he has around him. He needs a better coach, but you see, the organization's too cheap. They won't get a good coach in there for him. How do you keep Brandon Staley? What has Brandon Staley done to warrant keeping his job? And you fire guys like Jim Caldwell who have winning seasons and turn organizations around. What has Brandon Staley done to keep his gig when you have a quarterback like that? Brandon Staley blows. And for them to keep him, you hurt that kid. If I'm a free agent with the Chargers, when I don't want to remain in Los Angeles with the Charger organization. I want out. I want completely out. Okay? I want out. Okay? Yeah, Brian. Ohio State tries claiming Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow, they told him, you'll not ever play here. And my boy Ed Ogeron, you know how I will tell you this. Here's the Ed's been on the show 3 or 4 times. Hey, Tone, you're going to like this. How you doing, Travis? Can the Eagles play Bosa like they play Parsons? You mean run at him? Yeah, I would run at him. I'd try to wear him down. Because what they're going to try to do is they're immediately going to try to see, and they're immediately going to test, in my opinion, they're going to test Lane and see how hurt Lane is. Okay? They're going to run him. They're going to put him in a wide 9. They're going to make him have to move. They're going to test him right away. But if I'm the Eagles, I run the ball right at him with Lane. I run right at his ass. Okay? Run at him. Don't run away, because you know what he'll do? He'll make backside plays on you. He's a very active edge rusher, but he's also very active against the run. And the run, when they go away from him, remember what they used to do with Lawrence Taylor? Early on, LT, they tried running away from him. What did he do? He ran plays down from behind. So what did coordinators start to do? They went jumbo package like they did in Washington, and they started running at LT, hoping by the fourth quarter he'd be out of gas. I think that's when when you have a dominant player like that, you can't run away from them, because these guys make plays. You cannot run away from them. Run at him. See if he can play the run. Dude, when you're a pass rusher like Nick Bosa wants to get in the backfield and make plays in TFLs like Aaron. Can I tell you this? And Tone, you may disagree with me on this. This is why I've always looked at Aaron Donald and went, he's a half player. I never looked at Aaron Donald and went, that guy is a full, complete defensive tackle. I get it's the modern day NFL, but dude, he never played on really great defensive teams against the run because he didn't want to play the run. He runs around blocks. He takes himself out of position. He's got a ton of TFLs and a ton of sacks. Well, he don't worry about the run. He just runs around. I mean, Warren Sapp's a better player than him. Sapp was a defensive stalwart against the run, and he could get you 17, 18 sacks. He was a complete defensive tackle. Aaron Donald's not. He's not a complete D tackle, man. He runs around too many blocks, takes himself out of position. That's why you see sometimes those Ram defenses. Look at the Rams defense against the run this year. What, they give up 5 yards a carry? I mean, they've traditionally done that. You got to play to run. But today's NFL, you don't really have to do that anymore because it's more about passing. And it's more about pass protection. And it's more about throwing the ball around the yard. Warren could play. The guy John Randall in Minnesota was another one. Hey, Fletcher Cox could play to run, could pass rush to the quarterback. He was a force like that. When Sue, early in his career up in the Detroit Dominican Sue, with the 10, 11 sacks, and he played the run, and he was mean, and he was, I mean, those you can't find guys. Fletcher, in my opinion, is more my type of defensive tackle than what Aaron Donald was. Because at the end of the day here, man, I mean, you got to play the run. Randy White was a run stopper, okay? You got to run, I think, at Nick Bosa. And I tell you what, how about this? You think Nick Bosa is going to be able to withstand Dallas Goedert and Lane Johnson on a run block? I want to see that. I want to see that. I'd put Lane and Goddard right there, and I'd cave in that whole side that he's on. And you know what? You may think you're going to try to wear Lane out. I'd try wearing your ass out. Because if you wear him out, 49ers don't have another pass rusher. You're going to have to bring blitzes. If he gets worn out by the fourth quarter, guys, they don't have a pass rusher on that team outside of him. The Eagles have 4 of them dudes. They got 4 10-plus guys. I think you run right at that guy. Test his ass out. See what he's got. Man, Goddard, Kittle. CBS favors Kittle. I think it's such a coin toss. I think it's such a coin toss. Almost 5. Yeah, Joshua, right. Man, Dallas Goedert is so good. In my opinion, AJ's so good, but man, Dallas Goedert's a force. Knocks guys out at the line of scrimmage. My only question with Goddard, I wish he had Zach Ertz's hands. If he had Zach Ertz's hands, he'd be Gronk. Okay? He'd be Gronk. Is he 6'5", 6'6"? Is Goddard 6'5", 6'6"? Because I think Kittle's 6'4". Kittle's a great blocker too, though. Okay, me too, Brian. I love Dallas. Dallas Goedert's my favorite offensive player. Okay, he's my favorite offensive player the Eagles have. Man, he's so good. He's 6'5". Yeah, man, he's Gronkowski. If he has just a tad bit better hands. He keeps working on them hands and gets them hands better, man. I don't know. I think he would have had 1,200 yards this year if he didn't get hurt. And Jalen would have got 4,000. He's 256. I thought he was bigger. I thought he was 265. Gronk is 285. Gronk is 6'6", 285, and he's got hands like Chris Carter. And he's a great blocker. I mean, Gronkowski is the most complete tight end in the history of the league. Okay? And Goddard has a lot of characteristics like that guy. Yeah, and I like him too, Yale. He looks like a really good teammate, man. 6'5", 256. I'd like him a little bigger. He's pretty quick, too, for somebody that big. Actually, you want to hear something crazy? I think Lane's probably a better athlete than him. Okay? I probably think Lane's a better athlete. Eagles need a big tight end. Maurice, Eagles have always had great tight ends. Okay? They've always had great tight ends. Always great tight ends. Gronk is 6'6", 267. I thought Gronk just plays like he's 300 pounds. Goddard's so good, man. He's by far my favorite player. And just think of this. Like, watch this. Travis Kelce or Dallas Goedert. Give me Dallas Goedert. Sills, are you not watching what Travis Kelce does? You think Travis Kelce's putting those numbers up? What do you think Dallas Goedert would do in that offense with Patrick Mahomes? How many catches do you think he'd have with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid calling plays? What would a season look like in Kansas City for Dallas Goedert? This is not shade, but that guy's a better passer in Kansas City. I think we all agree to that. What would Dallas Goedert's numbers be in Kansas City if he had Mahomes throwing him the ball? 115, 120 catches? 1,300 yards? Would he not be doing the same shit right, Neil, 1,500 yards? So when you look at, but get this, Neil, he's a better blocker than Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's a blown-up version of Jason Witten. All right, let's take a timeout. Please hit the like button. Keep it here.